Aeolus and also is back with some more Brotato again. This the next day basically. Sometimes which is actually I think it's Wednesday. Yeah, which I think it's Wednesday. Also was Tuesday yesterday. Oh, wait, I'm what's that thing in today? Most of that so maybe it's Tuesday today. Stay down. Yeah, I didn't sleep very well. I was actually first off the previous day I only slept like 6.5 hours, and then I didn't go to bed properly and stuff like that, and then I only ended up sleeping like very late, and then I only ended up sleeping now for like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so like 4 hours and a half hour or 4 hours and a half, like 30 minutes, you know, and stuff that. And yes, we'll go to more progress. However, the thing is that we didn't do proper runs because, let me show you here, for example, not there, here. So for example, I only have like 30% enemy health here and enemy damage and stuff that because I decided at one point like, yeah, I just want to like unlock more stuff and stuff that like I tried so many times with just the default values and stuff that, you know. And basically what I'm trying to do is like I had it down to 25% first, but then when I cleared, I'm basically doing it so when I clear, I'm gonna increase the percentage there every time I clear, basically like when I clear like the highest, basically when I clear the highest danger basically and stuff that, because that I feel will let you adjust more so you know like what you're actually doing and stuff that, you know, because I feel like there were so many runs that just failed. I didn't know really why they failed them and stuff that because I felt like I did things properly, but maybe I am not aggressive enough with like attacking certain enemies, because there are certain enemies that you need to basically learn that you can walk into and stuff that. So yes, so we won't be playing with the 100% and stuff that, but we will be increasing things as we progress, of course, obviously. But yeah, otherwise things looks good there. Screen darkening shouldn't be on. And then of course you have the generator, but the background is of course, there are certain backgrounds I find myself really liking. Dirt I know that I like because that is very bright. Dreamlands. Why are certain ones wider? No, it's just because the text is wider. Darklands, ocean, shipwreck. But yeah, it's better to just have it on random. Okay, yes. So 50, master 75 and 25. I hope those were default. I wonder why you cannot set these to default again. Just like that, you know. So, and again, you shouldn't have all tracks on there and stuff that, you know, because, you know, that is the thing they give you the warning about there. But yeah, so it's 30, 30, 100. At first I did when I did a certain run, but keep in mind that I made it to basically to Danger 3 with the whole 100%, which you will be able to see here. For example, like this is the first run we did, which of course, as you can see, that's max difficulty beat the Danger 0 and stuff that. Then we have the Danger 2 there, but on wait, Danger 1, right? Yeah, because it goes Danger 0. And then this is the one I did Danger 1 with Engineer, which I made it to 25 in the Endless and 27 there on the Danger 0. And then I made it to 27 on the Danger 2 with the Ranger. And then of course when I made Danger 3 here, for example, you can see that it was only at 25%, which is the lowest it can go. And I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have like had the speed be like decreased to like 25% also, because making the enemy so slow actually makes you get way less XP, like the materials basically. You get way less of it when you have on 25% movement. So then the next round, which was Danger 4, is 40%. And why is it 40%? That is because the speed is at 100%. So that makes it so that it shows up there on the record, so you can tell like, okay, like which ones how are default difficulty that is on the brawler, because it's a Dengue 0 and it says no percentage afterwards. Same thing with the Dengue 1 and the Dengue 2 run. But on the Dengue 3 it is 25% and the Dengue 4 is 50%, and there I made it to with 32. I can't kill myself on purpose there and stuff that like I was used. So I guess I just thought that because they are so slow that I shouldn't have any chance of dying or whatever, you know. It's not that. And with the King I made it to wave 30 there, Dengue 4. And then with Dengue 5 you can see it is still at 40% there and stuff that. Because I mean Dengue 5 is really all that matters, really, to be honest, and stuff that, yes. And stuff, but I have turned off endless now because I just wanted to try and do certain things. It's too bad that it doesn't show up if you failed, right? It doesn't show up if you haven't cleared it. Stuff that it doesn't show up the like the furthest you have gotten and stuff that, which is sad because I ruined my chances with the Buccaneer. I had a really good run with the Buccaneer with all for 40% here. Or basically it's higher than 40% now, because now it's like, right, because 40% would be, the 40% is basically, instead of having 25% movement speed, you change the movement speed to 100%, so it's the default movement speed. And then basically the damage is from enemies are reduced by 25%, and like the enemy's health is reduced to only being 25% or out of 100, whatever, right? And the 40% there, for example, means that they still have only 25%, and now of course they have 30 instead and stuff that, so I'm gonna, you know, make it so that it goes up over time. But it was sad because on the Buccaneer I ruined it, because I had like double barrel shotguns, all of them were good, but then I saw a minigun. I have a minigun and I thought, oh, I can afford this if I recycle all of these weapons, and then I thought, oh, I'm gonna do the whole, so I can get the recycle unlocked, because we still need to hold 3,000 materials at some point. So that means that you don't spend the money and stuff that. Recycle 12 weapons during a run. Finish away with 10 or more living trees. Finish away with 1 HP. That you can do, but then you have to have no like health recovery whatsoever. Reach level 10 before wave 6. Reach 40% life steal. Reroll 10 times in a single shot and finish the run with 0 curse. Which can be all because you could just kill the cursed enemy by mistake. I know that not all of the characters give you achievements or whatever, right? You know, that, so let's go with, you go with the knight. Maybe, yeah, because we have unlocked certain things now, because see, that's the thing, right, that with certain characters you unlock certain things that are very, very good. Oh yeah, the mace is heavy. So it's heavy and it's medieval. Heavy stuff is actually very, very good for certain reasons. Yeah, let's try it. And then of course Dengue 5. Right. Let's see how things go. Keep in mind that I will call this part 1 again, by the way. And why will I call it part 1 again? I'm just taking the time there. Okay, so that's set on its default values. I think 25, 75, 50% was the default value. Okay, and that is like that. Yes. And then the score is on the highest difficulty there. Yes. Smash with club. Yes. So does he start with armor? Yes, he starts with 3 armor already. And I've seen how good like getting like 20 armor is and stuff that, because then you have like something like 57% damage reduction, and I don't know if that's the highest that it goes. And I have already unlocked the character for having 50% speed, so we don't need that. None of those are good. Want attack speed. Another blue mace. Yeah, let's not get 8 HP regeneration and then try and survive a wave. If we can get one. And let's reroll actually. Man, I wouldn't mind the trident. I know the trident is actually good. Do we lock that though? Because this still counts as medieval here and they are heavy. Medieval of course gives you more armor and more dodge. Then the heavy gives you the damage. But medieval is the one that's good against cursed enemies. So let's lock that. You can't equip ranged weapons. You can only equip tier 2 weapons or above. Attack speed modifications are reduced by 50%, harvesting modifications are reduced by 8%. Okay, 2 melee damage for every 1 armor you have. Okay, so you want to aggressively go for armor. Let's try to do it to do a non-curse run, by the way. Maybe. Right, because getting the trident won't count as getting cursed, right? Or does it? I'm gonna have to try and double remember that, because I could use recycle it, right? Because I'm pretty certain it's a set bonus. You don't get a set bonus from ever used wearing one. Yeah, let's get some luck there. Lock those. We want to avoid lifesteal and HP regen. Let's just go. Because eventually you want to get the thing basically that reduces your HP to 1. And you need to basically then survive without getting hit. And we need to get it as early on as possible to even be able to actually survive. I mean, if you set their speed to like 25%, then there's no way they will ever catch you and stuff that, you know. That's why like movement speed is important and stuff that, you know. You could also try to do it with the tardigrade, of course. Let's get speed. So the trident is, yes, it does give you curse. But it still counts as some medieval weapon. Yes. So as long as we don't get more than 1 trident. But is there a way to combine the trident used immediately? Is the question. Right, so I don't get cursed by mistake. Just so we can get the dangerous bunny as well. Yeah. There are of course certain things, basically unlocking certain characters actually give you trophies and stuff that, you know, basically doing what the objective is, so to speak. I feel like we have gotten really unlucky because we haven't seen armor once. Whatever, right? And I know we should probably use roll for it. But right now it's still too early and stuff that I feel like, because we're not making that much money. We recycle that. More speed. Reroll. Finally. Yeah, let's just combine already so we can have a purple one. Yeah, because this is kind of how I did it on the king. I actually went with several different weapons, but because basically there are several ones within the same category, so there are several like medieval weapons. Of course, and since we did finish the run with king, that means that the Excalibur should be able to show up and stuff that. It's, you know, I haven't tried out Excalibur, you know, and stuff that, but there was another legendary weapon I managed to get around one run that was like a Reaper thing. Or whatever that counted as a legendary, because basically tier 4 weapons aren't legendary, but all legendary weapons are basically tier 4 by default. And the king of course gets super strong the more tier 4 stuff he has. Stuff that. So he doesn't specifically need legendaries and stuff that, but you know. Let's get more movement speed. Is there a way to just combine it immediately, right? No, because this will just give me a second trident, which is actually bad, because then I will get the curse if we're trying to do a no curse run. Get the Gentle Alien, even though that is scary because that gives them the 5+ damage. So now they will be 35% damage instead. Or, you know, the 100% is of course the normal default, but reroll once. Yeah, we can't get any naval stuff, any more naval stuff. Let's get some free burning, why not? Now we will of course need to watch out, because we could use to ruin it. Now if we happen to ruin it, by the way, and we get curse, because there is a certain enemy you can kill that can give you curse, we need to like watch out for that enemy. Now we could just get unlucky and be like close to its spawn and then just hit it with the melee and stuff that, you know. Now it is also dangerous of course if we for example get turrets, because turrets will use attack whatever, right, you know, so we have to be careful with that. You know, we'll be very careful. Yes, you can see no problem so far. No lifesteal. Any more speed. More max HP. Get another mace. Get attack speed with that. Free reroll. Lock, and lock. So let's combine the two clubs. Boom, boom. Now we have two purple clubs. So with the king, for example, you wanna actually avoid getting used regular items like that, because on the king basically eats tier 1 item, yeah, because basically items are also in tiers, even though it doesn't show you. For example, this is a tier 1 item, this is a tier 1 item, this is a tier 2 because it's blue. So tier 1 items basically reduces your max HP on the king by 5, which can be really bad. Now you can counteract that of course, because legendary items, aka red items, give you HP and stuff that, and that's one way to scale up the HP with king. Stuff that, but yeah. And I know, for example, getting armor on this character is really important, because armor is of course more, as you can see, melee damage there. Yeah, plus 14 there. So everything that can give us armor basically is like really good. I want to make sure though that we avoid, again, as I said, HP regeneration and lifesteal. And of course then we need to, during that run of course, to not like kill any trees or whatever, you know. And I kind of wish that you could use to remove those enemies that you can use get free curse from and stuff there, because it is really annoying if you happen to get like unlucky and then it just like spawns and you just immediately kill it and stuff that, you know. I always wish they always made it so that it cannot spawn like in front of you. so that you know that, so that you can very, very clearly see it. Because I know what the enemy looks like and stuff that, you know. I'm having coffee luck here, but let's go for the medal. Let's go for another sword. Let's go for the helmet, even though that's reduced our speed by a little bit. And then we combine 2 swords. So yes, eventually we are gonna have to use, you know, we are gonna have to recycle the trident eventually. Ooh, a purple one. No, we don't want more trees actually. We're gonna do a different build for that eventually. No stuff that. Because now we're only going after surviving the 20 waves, right? We're not going into endless, you know, and stuff that just to make things faster, you know, and stuff that, so yeah. You might say, oh, but have it so that you stick to this difficulty or whatever, right? With only having like 30% enemy life and 30% like damage that they deal instead of the regular damage and stuff that, like every character instead. But I am gonna increase it, of course, that's clear, you know, stuff that. And I know, yes, certain characters are easier than others, you know, that's just how things go and stuff that. But when you clear with certain characters, you do unlock weapons. Like I don't think you do it with every character. Certain ones though unlock like passive stuff. So that gives me 1 less HP regen. Yeah, that's just free. That's just good. No. More armor. Good. Armor. That reduces max HP though. But that gives you 2 armor. Do we want to Yes. Recycle the trident. Lock the jousting hands. Oh, there's the word ghost. Yes, we do it. No, we have 1% lifesteal. Wait, what am I dumb? Where's the lifesteal from? Huh? Wait, what? I have 1 lifesteal. No. Max HP, yes. You don't get lifesteal. That is not lifesteal, that is armor used. Max HP damage, yeah. None of that is lifesteal, none of that is lifesteal. Yeah, it shows up on the weapons. Oh, blade. Oh, I can get rid of that then. Now I have no lifesteal. And then I can get the jousting lance. Haha! Good. So now we will have 1 HP this round. Man, this could get fucking scary because now we can use luck. Now I know that we cannot like touch anything. I'm gonna be careful now. Of course, we do have some movement speed. We do have 70% movement speed. So that doesn't mean just that we have to win here. Like I'm gonna have to be careful because the main problem also is that this wave is long. It lasts a long time. For fucking 40 seconds, man. No! Damn it, we ruined it and then we got the curse. We got the curse enemy. We ruined it. Right, because, you know, I didn't want to get a 3 and then of course it had to spawn where it did, you know, and stuff that, you know, so yeah, you know. We completely ruined it. Hey, but we did get more max HP from this. You do get 3 from that, so you know. Because the thing is, you need to finish the wave with one. But I mean, there's just easier ways to do it and stuff there to get that, you know. You know. Yes, get baby elephant. That is 10% attack speed though. Get more luck. Attack speed. Recycling machine. Leather vest. And more max HP. More melee damage. Because the crit chance doesn't really matter. Pick up ranks or more harvesting. Okay, next way. Yeah, that was a bit unlucky though, you know, and so that, see, that's the main problem, right? That, you know, if healing material drops, you know, and stuff that, then, you know. Now, of course, if we eventually get like tardigrades, for example, because now we have one curse and there's no way to like get rid of the curse, which is sad, you know, and stuff that, you know. Now, of course, does it show up on all the Danger difficulties? I forgot if it showed up on Danger or not, because there have been runs where I've had like without curse for like a really long time, like really far into the run and stuff that, you know. And maybe we just need to get kind of lucky. Yeah, we can still take damage. Quite a lot, actually. More armor. HP regeneration is doubled. Okay, so we're gonna ruin that. Yeah, but that's range damage, so we don't need that. I know that doubles the thing when you have less health, so yeah, so we shouldn't get broken mouth. We want to gecko. We want more armor, of course. So that's the elite, that's the mama character, which can actually be good to keep alive because you can get a lot more materials. Apparently, because she lays the eggs. So it can actually be good to keep her alive. It's a bit weird. One thing that I noticed is I think I reached the maximum. I think it was something like 317 luck or 318, and after that it just seemed like the stat like disappeared, like when you did the rerolls, that it wouldn't show up again or whatever, right? You know. Okay, let's kill it now. I said let's kill it now, come on. Very nice. Very good. Yeah, so we don't have that much dodge, right? But here's the thing, that this keeps on scaling the more dodge you get. Even if you go above 60%, it will still give you stuff. Let's get the HP regen there. Let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get the tongue. And I would love that, because weapon damage additional scales with elemental damage is actually really good. So we lock that. I'm not gonna go with turrets. There's another sword though. Okay, let's go. Almost done. Yeah, but we can still take a lot of damage, and we have 17 armor now. So now we're reducing our damage by 50%. A lower range also reduces the cooldown on melee weapons, which is actually very, very good. You know. And actually, with certain characters that have like slower attack speed, you can actually build up the attack speed. I did that on the Ogre, for example, and stuff like that, which was very, very good to do. One thing that I realized with luck is, like on one character, I basically aggressively rolled for luck, like all the time, basically, pretty much. And I believe I did it on the King. Basically, like almost all stats up, I would like re-roll just to get luck, because of the fact that he benefits from having like rarer stuff and stuff that, and that also made it so that more material, more crates are dropping. Okay, yeah. So if we would have gotten alien worms, we could have made it so that the fruit doesn't restore any HP and stuff that. XHP, please. Get that. Get that. You know, since we already have a curse, so we combine that. Let me combine these. Well, one ending for permanent, one elemental damage. But I forgot if that infinite is case or if that only applies once. But yeah. And keep in mind that theoretically, even when you have legendaries, the rolls on something can still be better and stuff that. Which I don't really know how to look for it, you know, because there's a lot of reading that you can do and stuff that, you know, and sometimes, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter. Right? If you really want to min-max, of course it does matter, you know, and stuff that, but yeah, you know. I mean, just get lucky. I'm firing my laser. 37 melee damage. It adds like 37 damage. It's more damage. It slices. It dices. We're also tenderizing enemies close with our club. So elemental damage does have a purpose now. Right. Now reroll more HP regen. Another dangerous bunny. Medieval. All of this medieval, right? Yeah. Luck. Lock the hedgehog and then reroll. Okay. What is our luck now? Oh, luck is 45. We probably want that to get at least over 100, I feel like. We are gonna, of course, be looking for cursings as well, you know, and stuff that, you know. Hopefully we can get a full fish hook sooner rather than later. The fish hook are more like something you want to go for like during an endless run unless you happen to get it early and stuff that, you know. You can see we can still take quite a lot of damage actually. Anyways, we have to still be careful because certain enemies can still deal quite a lot of damage, of course. But then it is a bit worrying to not like get health from the fruits because of more armor is nice. More max HP, please. Really nice. That and that. But that got cursed. Very good. Nice. Nah, we don't get another maze. I really want to try it though. Yeah. And normally I would only want one of each of the medieval weapons, so we might actually get rid of the other sword. Stuff that, you know. How much armor? Now we have 18 armor. And of course, if we can get our armor high enough, of course, that is used so much damage and stuff that, you know. This really increases our chance to survive. Yeah, we can use way 3 enemies now. We could before, you know, but yeah, but for example, these, you wouldn't be able to do this on 100%. Like damage and stuff that, you know. But yeah, we're moving pretty slowly now, we only have 30% movement speed. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. And armor. Oh man, that though affects, like, we have 37 attack speed and that basically sets it so weapons have a minimum cooldown of 0.75. Do we have something faster than 0.75? The only thing that's faster is the sword. But because 0.75 is not bad for melee weapons, because this has 0.89, 0.85. So it wouldn't hurt that much. Let's just go for it because it's more armor as well. Now we have 28 armor. So does it still work? Yeah, it still works even above the 20. So I thought it stopped at 20. But it still says 65% less damage. Okay, so, you know. Yeah, let's recycle the sword here. Get the bait. Lock that because it has the reroll price there, reducing. There's a tardigrade. There's another jousting lance. Good. Right, and the 3000 materials, by the way, that I feel requires endless, unless you happen to be able to do a run where you don't need to buy much at all. And I mean, maybe that would be for the character that can only have one weapon, right? Because then all the weapons are gonna combine that you can buy in the shop, basically, pretty much. Now, would we be able to survive, for example, if we get a single Excalibur? That is the question, you know. Because we are very tanky now. Ooh. Now I don't get one more sword. We can combine the Austin Lance, is now good. Very good. I mean, if we can get enough of like the thing that makes the rerolls cheaper, right? Which one is it? Yeah, that gives the reroll free, but it was something also that reduced rerolling price. Did we not get that? I don't think we did. Because yes, you can get three free rerolls and stuff there, but then it's basically that. Maybe we did see it, but we never got it. Okay. Because now it's 45% basically and stuff that, you know. Have still 27 armor. Armor is still useful, of course, because armor is always going to be useful. Like there is no limit to how much you want to get on the knight. So of course, wow, is why it is so good. As much as possible. Okay, for the 3 minutes, just double checking. I am gonna call this part now, right? Because now it's not the first time playing and stuff that, you know. Because, you know. That is actually nice, but I don't need it. More luck. Trident. That is more armor, more engineering, but nah. Where's the spyglass? The thing that I unlocked it for a really long time because it's minus 25% on the reroll price. So now we combine 2 of those, and I combine 2 of those, and now we have a red one. But because it's finished around with 1 curse, for example, if we would have gotten cursed via the naval there, right, and then we would have combined it into a single trident. Because basically when it checks if you cleared a run without curse, right, it checks that at the very end. So if you have 0 at the end, even if you had like 5 curse now, for example, if there was a item that could get rid of the curse, of course that is. So it's 10 rerolls. Can we actually afford 10 rerolls? So what that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was just testing there. Because basically you need to do 10 re-rolls. Which actually is pretty crazy, to be honest. Kill quickly, please. Because you're a bit dangerous. Thank you. Because you basically need to be doing 10 re-rolls. Which is why having a lot of the spyglass is important. Because again, it's 25% re-roll minus re-roll price. They want to do the re-rolls actually early on and stuff that, you know, so you need to get a bit lucky and stuff that. I forgot if there is a character that makes the shop cheaper or whatever, right? Or, you know, or if you knew, or if you should do it on a character that gains a lot of materials. Yeah, 2 more armor. That's really good. Yes. All of those are actually good. Even though the helm would make us lower. Is not 7 armor the max? Maybe it is. Yeah, 2 luck. 1% crit chance you have. Yeah, but we have negative crit chance. So wait. 2 plus luck. So maybe we want to get some crit, because crit then will also be luck. I mean, even though we don't really need it, because this will be the final way. And you actually get the option to choose to go into Endless. It's something I realized, so you never really need to have the Endless on unless you are guaranteed that you want to go into Endless and stuff that, you know. Because just having that option to be able to choose it when you're doing a regular run, that is really nice. Imagine if Vampire Survivors had that, you know, so you can use, instead of having to choose it from the very beginning, you used to go Endless. It's something you could choose when you're at, you know, wave 20 or whatever, or, you know, just before the wave starts, just before death appears, you know, a box appears like you want to go Endless or whatever, you know, and stuff that, you know. Lots of materials. Crit and dodge. Yeah, so locking here doesn't really matter. 1 reroll, 2 reroll. 3, 4, 5. Nah, it's even close. I didn't even check what items were there. I didn't care, right? Because we only need to survive this war wave now. We don't have the maximum amount of weapons, so you know this could still be dangerous because they can still hurt a lot. You can still fail on this wave. Because some of the bosses are actually very, very tough. Of course, the sooner we kill one, the easier this will get. Now he is running away. Which means get him. Very nice, and now he's almost free. Just be very, very close. Nice. Knight, and that unlocks the plasma sledge. Which is a bit weird though, because you know what does that have to do with like the knight? That's an elemental and an explosion. That's also decent enough to them, but that's also is something that, as you can see, there are certain weapons basically that will never show up in a lower category. For example, like the plasma sledge here, for example, is automatically always purple, meaning that it will never show up as a blue and never show up as just a gray and stuff like that. So that is something to realize. How much long? Okay. So now, since we did that, right? So this was with 40% danger, and the knight should be 45% danger. There, as you can see, 45% danger. So that was 40% danger, 45% danger. So now go in here, go in the gameplay. Enemy health now 35 on both. Now the question is though, could you like increase the enemy speed right past 100? Or like, for example, like could you have like the enemy damage be lower than 100 and then have like enemy speed higher to make it look like it's 100? Oh, but it would probably show up differently. If you go enemy speed higher, it would probably show up, instead of being like minus or whatever, or like 40%, it would probably show up like 110% or something like that, you know? Right, because if it can be like, for example, this said like what, 40%, and this is now 45%. So I'm guessing this should be 50% then. Is what it should be now. Yeah, it should be 50% now probably. So next character. I'm trying to remember which one has, because there's a lot of ones that have achievements. So what precise weapons do we have? Okay, those are the ones we have. Two projectiles plus projectile pierce. Sometimes for every different tier 1 item you have. So if you want to go tier 1 items with that, you cannot equip melee weapons, but you deal way less damage, way less accuracy. What? Does that mean he misses? Because accuracy isn't really a stat. I mean, what are your starting weapons? Okay. So you get 2+ projectiles with whatever you shoot with. SMG is better because of the low damage. I know that the shotgun can be good, because see, here's the thing, like it's insanely good on the pirate, on the buccaneer, because on the buccaneer basically, when you pick up materials, you basically shoot automatically. It refreshes his cooldowns, and even though the pirate has like slower attack speed, that means also that if you build up the regular attack speed, you can cover yourself with that, but you don't technically need to get any attack speed at all. But it is still good to get attack speed, you know, in case things go real bad. But yeah, I know laser gun is pretty good damage wise. And I really like the revolver actually, because it has, so that has 2 piercing already. Laser gun has 2 piercing. Oh man, double barrel shotgun has 3 though. I know also that shuriken is really good, by the way. For every different tier 1 item you have. Okay, so what? Let's start with the shotgun. Danger 5. Right, and yeah, we're soon gonna do part 2 though then, you know. Obviously maybe we need to go and refill the water bottle and stuff like that, you know. But yeah, so it is 50% now on the danger. So 50, 75, 25 there. 50 on the master, 75 on sun, and 25 on that. I think gameplay. Yeah. Yeah, so it's 50% now is what it counts as. So you want to be using tier 1 weapons. Attack speed. Right, so for every different tier 1 item you have. So these are like items, not weapons. Right, tier 1 item, not weapons. So weapons won't matter. Get cat sausage then. Get this. Yes. Look those. Yeah. 10% damage for every different tier 1 item you have. So you need to basically be getting that quickly to get up his damage. And there is no accuracy stat, right? Like, where is accuracy? That doesn't show up anywhere there. That is interesting. He's the only character that gets minus accuracy, right? By the way, the ogre was really good because the ogres had like exploding weapons. So I went with Cacti Club. A Cacti Club he swings pretty slowly at first, but then if you get more attack speed, it's just that it explodes every time you hit. So you can get like a really, really big radius and stuff that, you know. Okay. Hosting. There's hosting. Reroll. You do that. Yeah, it's 50%. Which just seems really, really odd then, because it then seems like we're not gonna have like, you know. So was 100% in everything the default stats? Is the question, you know, maybe like movement speed 100% isn't their default movement speed or whatever, you know. One other bag now, but that's very nice. More hosting. Get some armor. Try to do that so we can combine. Right, so that doesn't affect anything now. Get SMG. Reroll. Not SMG, of course. So I'm gonna try and go with different weapons here and stuff that, because sometimes actually going with different weapons can still be good, because all of these weapons count as the gun category and stuff that, you know. And that just feels like that's what a renegade would do, you know, and stuff that, you know. Attack speed. Get SMG. Combine that. Anyway, I see all in